What's happening, everybody? I appreciate you checking in. All right, we got some shocking news coming out of camp. This news just dropped, so I want to jump on here and kind of talk about it. But as you can see on the screen, Raiders wide receiver Michael Gallup retires ahead of training camp, which is, I mean, it really is shocking because I actually just watched earlier today. Antonio Pierce went in front of the media. He had his presser. There was no mention of Michael Gallup. There was no mention of him possibly not traveling with the team. This is the first that I've heard that Michael Gallup wasn't planning on traveling with the team. And so they just announced that they put him on the injured reserve slash retired list. And so, according to Raiders Wire, this article has just come out. And so let's kind of go through this article and see what they say about this topic. And then we're going to look at the roster. We're going to look at the roster because I think this becomes extremely interesting with some of the rookies, especially the undrafted free agents that we brought in, because I think there are some exciting undrafted free agent wide receivers that we have on this roster that now I think have a real chance at making the 53-man cut. So let's kind of dive into the article. Raiders receiver Michael Gallup retires ahead of training camp. The Raiders wanted to add a veteran receiver this offseason, signing Michael Gallup to a one-year deal. Gallup is a former draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys who was a longtime starter opposite of CeeDee Lamb. However, injuries derailed his career after suffering a torn ACL and MCL at the end of the 2022 season. He wasn't the same player in 2023, and now he is out of the game. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, the Raiders have placed Michael Gallup on reserve retired list, meaning that he did not show up for camp. Again, a little strange that AP didn't say anything in his presser earlier today, but maybe they were just waiting to release this news a little bit later. Maybe he didn't want the press conference to be just about that. You know, I don't think he wanted the topic of first day of training camp to be all about Michael Gallup. I think he wanted it to be of the team. So look, good move on Antonio Pierce. You know, you want to be about the team. The article goes on to read the Raiders still have plenty of depth at receiver on the roster with Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker leading the pack. With the Raiders expected to use multiple tight ends on most snaps, it was clear that Gallup wouldn't have much of a role on the roster. Gallup retires at the age of 28 with 3,744 receiving yards and 21 touchdowns. His best season came in 2019, playing 14 games while catching 66 passes for 1,107 yards and 6 touchdowns. And so, again, this is really shocking. This is shocking because Michael Gallup, I think when we brought him on, I think he was going to try to revive his career, kind of prove that he could be that Michael Gallup pre-injury. And this was going to be his opportunity to kind of prove it. But kind of agree with this article that by having Michael Mayer and bringing in Brock Bowers, there's going to be limited opportunities for him, especially with Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker is really getting the bulk of the intended targets outside the tight ends. Yeah, it was going to be really tough to see Michael Gallup and how he can really show his worth during the season on this roster. And so with that being said, let's jump into the roster. Let's jump into our depth chart and see kind of how this all can play out with some of the receivers sitting on the depth chart and what to look forward to. So let's jump into the depth chart. But before we do that, if you can, please like this video, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Next giveaway is at 4,000 subscribers. So if you want to be included in that, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications because you'll be notified when I hit 4,000 and hit you guys with that next giveaway. So make sure you like this video and hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's take a look at this roster. Let's break down the receivers that we currently have on the roster and now who has a chance. Now, so obviously I have the depth chart up. And just by looking at it, you got Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker. They're obviously going to be the starting three that will enter onto the field. You got Brock Bowers. That's going to be mainly your pass catching tight end. And I did a video just, I want to say about a week ago on Michael Mayer and how he's gained some weight. And I think he's really starting to understand what his role is going to be as a blocking tight end. And we're going to be running behind him majority of the time. And so I'm glad that he's embracing that part of his game and really what his position may be. Now, if you look behind that, obviously you got Michael Gallup that now has announced his retirement. You got Jalen Guyton, which I like Jalen Guyton. I like the speed that he brings, but again, he's also an injury prone type of guy. So we'll see kind of how it plays out. You got Christian Wilkerson that we brought on last year, and he still has a lot to prove. But two guys that I think have a really good chance at possibly making this team now. I've been high on Tulu Griffin. I think Ladicious Griffin is going to kind of bring to the table the speed that Trey Tucker does as well. Trey Tucker has a lot of speed, but if he goes down, we need somebody else to slot in that can stretch the field, that could be that speedster to get on top of the defense, that they can respect the deep ball. And I think Ladicious Griffin can do that. Now, we obviously have DJ Turner there as well, but DJ Turner has really shown that he could help in the special teams, but not necessarily as a wide receiver, where I think Ladicious Griffin can do both. He can help as a wide receiver, but he can also help in the return game. And then the next guy that I really do like, now that Michael Gallup is announcing his retirement, I think Ramel Keaton now has a chance at making this 53-man roster. I've done videos. A lot of you have mentioned his name, and Ramel Keaton can come in and find himself competing to have that backup role behind Devonta Adams and Jacoby Myers. One of the knocks that I've had on him is, he's got to improve on his hands. He's got to get better at winning the 50-50 balls. And that's where, as a receiver, kind of buried in the depth chart, if you want to earn a spot on this football team, not only do you have to do it on special teams, you look at a guy like Mac Hollins a couple years ago. He was a number 2, a backup wide receiver, but he found his spot on special teams, especially on that punt team. He was that gunner going down and making tackles on those punt returners. And so Ramel Keaton can find himself not only possibly on a spot on special teams, but if he starts to win those 50-50 battles, show that he can win those 50-50 balls, that's where a receiver can really stand out and really find yourself a spot on this roster. So again, now that Michael Gallup is gone and he's retired, this is where I think it really does open up the door for a receiver like Ramel Keaton to battle it out with a guy like Christian Wilkerson to see who is really gonna find themselves as that backup to possibly Devonta Adams or Jacoby Myers. And so, guys, this is breaking news. I didn't expect this to happen, but it creates a little more excitement for some of these young rookies to find themselves a spot on this 53-man roster. And it really makes training camp, it makes preseason that much more exciting. And so let me know, guys, let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think, based on this depth chart, who do you think has the best shot at replacing Michael Gallup on this receiver depth chart? Let me know in the comment section down below. So again, please like this video, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Next giveaway, 4,000 subscribers. So I hope all you guys get included in that. All my subscribers are automatically included. So hit that subscribe button if you want to be included in that. So I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm out.